Hello, everyone, and welcome to another match of Final Fantasy V Career Day, our main tournament this season. All trap chests lead to the void, where key items can be in monsters in a box. We have a losers match here. Winner continues on, and the loser will unfortunately be gone from the tournament. With me today is Romstein, back in tracking, and I am Fiery Blizzard. We have a match today, sort of a new school versus old school. Dryzalizer has been around for a very long time, since the first tournament, and Judgejoe has just recently joined the community. So we should get started in about, let's say, about 30 seconds. And let's see what this match gives us. The goal of this seed is to beat Neo Xtef at the end of the void. To do so, we need all 4 tablets. And to get to World 3, to access the Void, we need the Anti-Barrier and the Bracelet to go up Xtef's castle, and to beat Xtef in his castle. Now, that says 6 required key items, but we may need more than that because the key items can be at any boss location. So I'm going to start off. So in this seed, normally when you play, you may play with all 22 jobs available, but in these settings, you don't actually have that guarantee. So you may wind up with just a single job, your initial job, and no other job, or you can end up with 20 jobs. It just depends seed to seed. But it'll be interesting to see how these two routes diverge, if they do diverge at all. Again, Dryzalizer has quite a bit more experience than Judgejoe, so we'll see if they both get sort of the standard Giltos Neo Xtef fight, or if we have to do something a little bit more complicated. But I believe both of our racers are going to do sort of the standard opening here, which is to go into Tycoon Castle and start raiding the treasures here. It's generally a good first move. You can get some pretty good loot early in the spot. Loot operates on a tier system, so there are 9 tiers of items. And in the way that we are playing, there are a 20% chance of a 4-tier overflow. Each spot is assigned a tiering. And so you can go 4 tiers above that with a 20% chance, which means that even these early locations can have some pretty good items, just like that Elf Keep, which gives you a pretty big evade chance. I think it's 25% evade on top of whatever else you have. We also saw Dragon Sword early, which does HP leak and sap, or HP drain and MP drain. And so for the first couple of bosses, that's actually pretty good. Most bosses will go down basically a single turn of combat or 4 attacks. The other thing that we're going to be looking for is our Path to the Void hints. There are 5 hints in each world. So 5 in World 1, 5 in World 2, 5 in World 3. The first 2 worlds are open in the settings that we have. And so we have 10 hints available from the start. You can go ahead and grab them at any time. And you're just looking for where are those tablet locations, where is my bracelet, where is my anti-barrier, because those are really going to be what progresses you through the seed. And we saw that the second tablet is in World 2, which is nice. We don't know where in World 2, it's just somewhere there. We also found out that we're starting with Blue Mage, my personal favorite job. I imagine this probably favors Dryzalizer quite a bit. He's certainly more comfortable with Blue Mage than I believe Judgejoe is. I know Dry is very comfortable with sort of Blue Mage strats and learning some of the blue magic naturally. You can find blue magic, white magic, black magic in shops or in chests. You can also learn them sort of naturally as well. It's pretty big for, say, Dark Shock or L5 Doom. If you're not familiar with Final Fantasy V in general, there are 3 worlds, and it operates on a job system. So it's not like, for Final Fantasy IV or really even Final Fantasy VI, where a character is sort of locked into a job. Every character can be any job, and it's just up to you to sort of equip your party with what you have available. Each job has abilities. So we see actually a chemist right here pretty early on in what looks to be Tool. Chemist as a job itself is not terribly great. It can break staves. What it does have is the mix ability. Once you get, I believe, to level 3 Chemist, Mix is probably one of the most broken abilities in the game. If you're familiar with Mix in general for Final Fantasy, you probably have a good idea about how broken it is. And it's certainly one of those things because you can basically apply status effects on most enemies, or you can raise your levels. It's one of those truly endgame abilities. Our first key item location in Tool with that monster in the box goblin gave us a flame whip. It's good if you can equip it. If you find equipped whips, it may be worthwhile to pick it up now. We will see if we do find that. Dry headed into World 2 rather than Tool. He went into Sergate Castle first, and now is going to Moore. If you're familiar with Vanilla, you know Moore has Digital Knight for the Brave Blade chest. Randomizer works the same way. You can choose only one of the two chests. So what people will do is check one, and then if it's a perfect item, they'll reset and check the other one. And so I expect a reset from Dry there. The Kodachi is not particularly useful here. The Haste 2 magic, once you can equip it, is very nice. Oh, and we did actually see equip blips in that same shop with Chemist. So that's a really good pickup. We're also going to get another hint up in Tool here. And we'll see what the other chest is. Just a giant axe. That is a good amount of money. Karnak is Path to the Void, which means that we do need to find the steamship key, which will give us access to, obviously, the steamship, and it will give us access to Karnak Escape, which is what Karnak refers to. So now Dry, after his quick trip into World 2, is back into World 1, sort of doing the more standard opening. We'll see that Chemist, honestly, with Blue Mage and Chemist, you can probably tackle most bosses in the game, just with those two things alone. There are only a few bosses where that won't really take care of anything, although creativity goes a long way. The big thing about Final Fantasy V in general is you'll get a lot of bosses that are not immune to statuses. So the more statuses that you can inflict, or the more instant death you can apply, so like Stone, generally the better off you are and the faster your seed is going to be. So we see Judgejoe going for the Wind Shrine, sort of our first spot in the game. The top boss normally in Vanilla is Wing Raptor, 250 HP. And then you get a nice reward with the crystal breaking at the top of the Wind Shrine, which will give you 5 items that are, I believe, tier 5. We do see Greg too. The good news is that Fire 3 whip, or that Fire 3 did proc, which is a 33% chance. So you'll get Greg jumping here. He'll kill off one character, but then the other 3 will survive. And I think that was probably enough damage to actually get the Greg 2 kill here. So you will get XP, because he did not run away. So that's nice. Let's see what we get. The Yoichi bow. So now if you can equip a bow, that ends up being a very nice reward. And we'll see what our 5 items here, if there's anything useful. Magic Sword 4 is nice. Double grip and two-handed. Not bad at all. Could be better. Ribbon is nice too if you have a way to equip it. Magic Sword 4 is particularly notable, and especially at that spot because you don't really expect something like that there. Because that gives you the ability to use Break Blade if you find it. Also gives you, obviously, the ability to use Meat Blade or Sleep Blade, which also come into handy against certain bosses. Moon Flute is interesting. I'd be tempted to pick it up if you... It does inflict Berserk on bosses that are vulnerable to Berserk. Which there are a couple, for sure. But no one picking that up. Both here in Licks. Judgejoe has a little bit of advantage here. He's got 3 chemists already. He's beating a boss. Picking up those antidotes, which are a main mix ingredient. Other than that, sort of standard shopping. And Revivifies, which is the other main ingredient. Most useful mixes that we'll use require Revivify as an ingredient or holy water in later versions. And so if you have Revivify and Antidotes, you can mix Samson Power, and that will raise your level by 10, which raises your damage output by quite a bit, especially early on. So certainly Mix is something I would expect to be used quite a bit in the seed. Especially if we are stuck with just Blue Mage and Chemist. Now the question is whether or not either player will go and learn something like L5 Doom naturally. I expect Dryzalizer to learn Dark Shock naturally. If he watches his levels enough, he'll be able to learn L5 Doom naturally at the top of library, and that in combination with Mix, L5 Doom, Dark Shock, and Mix can pretty much take down any terrible boss if you do it the correct way. Because what Dark Shock does is decrease a level by half. We see Bahamut at Torna Canal, just giving us Forged Swords, so nothing really going on there. And so the other thing about Dark Shock, when the level decreases by half, it implements a floor function. So level 11 goes to level 5, and levels can't go below level 1. And so if you can get an enemy to level 1, mix up a Samson Power to get it to level 11, and then Dark Shock again to level 5, you will be able to kill any boss with L5 Doom. So we see Judgejoe doing a little bit of looting in the ship graveyard here. Sing ability is nice for sure. I believe we picked up Hero Song in Surgate. Judgejoe does not have that yet, but Dry does. The multiple characters with the single job doesn't level up any faster. What Career Day does is has a 4 times multiplier in terms of EXP and ABP. Your battle points and your levels go up faster than what they would in vanilla. That's just to avoid the need to grind to beat Neo XF at the end of the Void. Otherwise, these seeds would be a lot longer, or just require. It would just be a lot less friendly if we actually had to deal with the sort of vanilla EXP. There's also the difference here. In vanilla, bosses don't actually give experience. That's obviously been changed in Career Day. Leviathan here, not too bad. You certainly prefer to see Leviathan here than in most other places. So each character learns its own ability set, right? And so what he's doing is getting 3 mixes. So all the chemists will learn Mix. All the current chemists will eventually learn Mix, rather than just one character learning Mix. We see Comet and Aqua Rake. We see the Shrine page gotten up from Judgejoe's side, which is a very nice page to get. It's in World 3, so we're not going to be able to access it for a while, but that is 3 key item checks, because there are 2 trap chests, and then there's the boss at the top of Shrine. You see Fire Rods getting bought. You can break those. Those will just cast Fire 3. That will kill. That should instantly kill whatever's at the top of North Mountain if Judgejoe decides to go there. Generally, a lot of racers will avoid doing just simply because you can try to pair it up with the Mirage Radar visit in World 3. We still see more shopping from Dryside, and then we see a little bit of change for Judgejoe. He's going to go into Waltz Meteor here. Waltz Meteor, the HP here is actually very low than what you would think. It would generally be pretty high if it were to actually add up all the vanilla Ouroboros here. But instead I think it's like 1250 or 1500. Timmy will hurt. A couple Fire Red breaks will probably kill Timmy. Timmy does have innate shell and innate armor, so it might be pretty rough here. What you can do is Timmy is level 20. You can come back with L5 Doom and just instantly kill Timmy. Because you're not gonna... Timmy can hurt. Giant armored turtle. But the idea here is that if you were to defeat that boss, you probably get a good 14 or 15 levels, because the EXP that spot gives you is ridiculously high. Bahamut is never a dragon. That is a Final Fantasy truth. Try getting his forged sword and is going to go through the ship graveyard. We'll see if he goes for the single chest down here, and he does. I've found some pretty good items in the single chest. Mute and Spellblade, certainly want to pick those up. Those two can help a lot against certain bosses. Mute Blade will basically make Omniscient free, or Callow free. Sleep Blade can make other bosses free as well. Antlion in particular in a bad spot. The Sleep Blade is very nice. We will eventually see the Waltz Kingdom hint. Just upstairs here. Ship Graveyard is Path to the Void, so Shrine is going to be visited today. Now we can get 3 possible key items from the Shrine, and all 3 of those could actually be key items, at which point you have to guess which one is actually the Path to the Void, or if more than one is. Or it could just be a single tablet and you don't have to guess at all. But we will be seeing Shrine. Judgejoe is going to go down and take on the Shiva spot. 1200 HP, something like that. Again, not terribly difficult. I imagine a couple fire rod breaks and we'll be out of here. Ooh, okay. This is potentially problematic. If you have a mix on, you have an you would be able to actually float yourself. Other than that, that Earthshaker there is going to kill your party, because that will do 450 to 550 damage to each person. Like I said, you can mix up a Levitate, and that would take care of Titan. Titan also does hit pretty hard. Yeah. The thing is, I don't know if we had a Maiden's Kiss. No, we do. So a Maiden Kiss and an Antidote gives you float status. Burgos, hit the wrong meteor here. So 2,200 HP or so, but that's divided by 6. The key here is to kill all of them at once, which a Fire Rod does very nicely. You can actually see quite a bit of levels getting on Judgejoe's side. We'll see what... Alright, the Tycoon Meteor gives us the Steamship Key, which we also know is required, because Karnak is Path to the Void. It's also pretty nice to go to immediately, just because you will get pretty good loot, it being a sort of gated area. People won't loot the steamship, that's generally pretty low, but Karnak Escape itself is pretty high tier loot. Dry doing already some mixed strats doesn't surprise me. Dry's knows a lot about this game. Certainly more than Judgejoe. Judgejoe, like I said, is a newcomer to Final Fantasy V in Career Day. Dryzalizer, on the other hand, knows a significant amount about this game and how it works. So, Dryzalizer using those mixed strats that are maybe a bit more esoteric does not surprise me at all. And I expect the same thing with blue magic here as well. Now, Judgejoe is doing his Karnak shopping. I did not see that ninja on Judgejoe's side. That's a very nice job. Throw and javelins are huge. Throws and scrolls are huge. It's a decent amount of damage early. If you find those javelins that you can buy. Basically, it just becomes a javelin throwing contest for most of the seed. The Adamantite is in World 3, that's what the hint we missed earlier. That just gives you access to 2 checks in World 1, the Flying Wonka Ruins. But we won't see that for a while. And Judgejoe is going here through the steamship. 5 possible key items. A little bit here. For as early as it is, that's not a terrible call at all. We are only 19 minutes into the seed. And there's our javelins. So you'll see somebody equipping throw on dry side and just start throwing those. With mix, in particular, if you level up your character by 10 and then throw a javelin, you can probably nearly one-shot those bosses in World 1. And you can easily set up your party. Ninja is pretty fast. If you put a ninja with mix, followed by a ninja with another ninja that will have throw, that would work out really well turn order-wise. We'll see if Dry actually goes ahead and do that. I thought Judgejoe was rearranging his inventory. Judgejoe is certainly known more in the free enterprise community for Final Fantasy IV. You can tell because he uses all 4 save slots. So I thought he was rearranging his inventory despite there being a sort button at the top. And also probably pretty nice that he doesn't have to worry about inventory management in terms of the amount of items you're able to hold. Alright, triplets here. Fire Rod would not be a good thing. That would heal the first and might kill the other 2. Aqua Rake would work. An Antlion at the top of North Mountain, disappointing kill. A couple more Aqua Rakes and that'll do it. And we get a Dancing Dagger from North Mountain 1. So, nothing particularly good there. The triplets here each have about 1,000 HP, if not exactly 1,000. And we get the Submarine Key. Now, that is not Karnak. So, that is not what the hint was referring to, because that is just referred to as the steamship. This entire area is Karnak, though. So there are 4 key items that are referred to as Karnak in the hint. And Dry finds his Timmy. 186 damage is not going to do that. There are plenty of things you can do here. I saw that Ice 2 was on his list. Timmy going after the one character that has throw. And decides to reset out. So, in this setting, trap chests are actually in static locations, so we know where the 3 are. There's one up here, then the 2 by the front door are trap chests. Demi, which is nice, because we have the time magic available to use that. We'll have the HP of any boss that is status of not heavy. So there's the 4th tablet that very well may have been what the hint for Path to the Void was hinting at. Tablets, if you're familiar with Vanilla Game, give you access to 3 items in Sealed Castle, or Kusa Castle. Very high tier items. Generally, you'll find at least 3 items that are worth getting. and certainly this early I would expect Judgejoe to immediately go to the castle and see what is there. We may get another tablet. We get a bracelet, which is also required. A bracelet is one of the 2 items required to get up Extus Castle in World 2. Dryzalizer is going to waltz. He will find Titan there. He has Mix on, so he would be able to levitate. And probably beat it. Shoot here. Probably not too bad. Not quite with that Fire Red break, but 100 and somewhat. Oh, no, okay. I got ahead of it more. And there's the anti-barrier, so that's a little bit ridiculous. The bracelet and the anti-barrier both in Karnak escape along with a tablet. So Karnak was absolutely required. So now we can, with blue magic, you could go beat Extef in this castle literally right now if you wanted to. It would take a little bit of setup, but you can learn L5 Doom naturally, and you can learn L2 Old naturally, and that will take care of Extef in about 2 seconds. See if Dry does against this Titan. Maybe does not have Mix on anybody. We see equipped bows, we see Dancer. Judgejoe deciding to pick up that Dancer. We do have ribbons, but I don't think we have any actual dancers. So that would be the Lamia's tiara, the rainbow dress or rainbow suit, and the red shoes, which make your sword dance chance, which is a 4 times attack power attack from a 25% chance to a 50% chance. Because it removes Tempting Tango, which is a charm attack from the pool. Oddly enough, there are instances where you actually do want that charm attack. If you decide to farm for L2 Old, if you get an encounter with 3 Magic Dragons and a Arage, that will cast White Wind on your party if it's charmed. White Wind is a very, very nice blue magic spell. Dryzalizer getting his Steamship key, I imagine, will be going there shortly and figure out that Steamship is loaded. And the fact that it's Path to the Void is not a joke. But it's gonna go to Karnak Meteor first. Also, the fact that we saw Shoot where it was, that is very nice. Shoot in later HP spots is a massive pain because there's no real... There are ways to dispel of Shout easily, but I don't know if either racer would go for it. Maybe Dry would just start spamming L5 Doom. But seeing it early basically means that it's not a threat. Odin is also very nice to see early as well. We're gonna get our first sealed castle, Kusa Castle check here. Time level 6. Not bad at all. If you can find... We have Haste 2. Leviathan, if we find some in 5. Lots of Dragoon gear. White level 6. We do have Dispel. Black level 6. Earth Hammer. And a Coral Ring. Alright, so I'm imagining that it will just be the 3 level 6s here. Black 6, white 6, and time 6. Maybe Judgejoe will go for something different here. And from Karnak Meteor, it is a Waltz Tower key. And that is what Judgejoe does. Grab 3 level 6s. Trap chests are just chests that have monsters in it. So basically, type of chest that Judgejoe got, say the bracelet in, or the fourth tablet in. Void is just sort of the end game, the end area of Final Fantasy V. What is Void? Nobody knows. In fact, that is a plot point. Nobody knows what the Void is. We do find red shoes. That's a nice pickup here in Rigor. Effort at the top of Wells Tower. One javelin will kill. More forest holds to hear you call. Doesn't really say anything either way. It is worth noting that if you are going hint hunting, there are only 5 hints that will maximum that can be Path of the Void. I think it's anywhere from 3 to 5. So there are ranges of the type of hints you can get, but there are maximums and minimums. We see a Berserker coming out. Alright, really one-step Berserker. I see that we've had some corruption from certain people in the community to corrupt newer players. Yes, Final Fantasy V Day is the randomizer for Final Fantasy V. Summon 3, and we have Shoat, and we have Golem. That will carry quite a bit. The Golem is... The simplest way to put it is that it's about 3,000 HP of armor that it will absorb until that last hit. The formula works a little bit differently, but it's about 3,000 unless you're very low HP. And Shoat is a way to break or stone bosses that are immune to or not immune to them, and that's an instant kill, basically petrified. Trench Page from that to me gives you access to 3 other hints in World 3. We have the sub key, so that generally is a pretty quick play in World 3, just if you are looking for more hints. So we'll see if we actually do go see Trench. L3 Flare, I think Dry is probably happy to see that. Just more math strats. Judgejoe is going to go back and take on this Titan. Feels a little bit better. The other way that Judgejoe could have approached this earlier is put on a whip that has paralysis chance. And if you paralyze Titan, who is not immune to paralysis, you won't get Earthshakered. Greg 3 here on the catapult has, I guess, 1,000 HP. So we don't get to see Enkidu. There's the Elder Branch. We know that's going to go to Hear You Call. The other thing that it does is it kills off Galoof. Spoiler alerts if you haven't played Final Fantasy V Vanilla, which enables you in this randomizer to access Fort Tower. We see Deathclaw picked up in Dryzalizer's side. Basically, any boss that is flagged non-heavy would be able to be hit with Deathclaw, which both inflicts paralysis and puts the enemy at critical HP, which is single digit. Not going off and learning Dark Shock naturally, though, which is surprising to me. We do see eye drops, another good mix ingredient. And we see all the songs that you'd want. So we already found Hero Song. Judgejoe is going to get his Walls Tower key. So I'm a little surprised that Dry is holding off on Steamship as long as he has. Um, that Requiem is going to be nice if he has Sing ability on for that triplets, because that will instantly kill those triplets. We'll see if Dry decides to put on Sing, though. Judgejoe is going to go up to his Walls Tower. Find a couple, find something 3. Other than that, I don't think there was anything worth talking about. Guess this gave a golem or something. Yeah, the main difference in terms of the key items is just Dry has not gone to Steamship for whatever reason, which had 4 key items. Yeah, so golem and then summon 3. Callow is not immune to mute, and so if you have mute sword, Callow becomes free. At 3,300 HP here, probably, I think one other throw would have actually done it, because I think those javelins were doing 1,100 apiece. And Judgejoe is coming right behind Draw. I'm going to the catapult. And just getting a Flame Whip. So nothing dealing at the catapult or Lunken Meteor. Judgejoe deciding he doesn't need to check the 3 chests at the back catapult. Really the only thing he's missing is L3 Flare. I would not expect Judgejoe to be using L3 Flare, so probably not that big of a loss for him. Dizzyman's point in chat, X-Stuff in his castle is level 66. So L3 Flare will work on X-Stuff in his castle. Making good use of that black 3 pickup. Really just the fact that a much earlier tablet for Judgejoe versus Try is gonna pick up quite a bit of time, or at least extend this lead quite a bit further. Going to check the Bard's item. Just Magic Sword level 1. We have Magic Sword level 4, so absolutely no use there. See the triplets here. Thunder Scroll, perfectly fine. Need to throw another one of those or just Aqua Rake. What is surprising to me is that neither player has done any World 2 checks. Bow Castle is a pretty standard early check. Bow Castle has, I think, 2,500 HP and will give you a lot of experience given that it is a World 2 boss. Dry is going to go through his Karnak and is going to see, well, how stacked it is. Calvo can give herself armor as much as she wants. It does not protect against base rocks nor Bolt 3. The good news is that if your character comes into this fight with a wall ring, Calvo will not cast wall on herself. Dry getting his 4th tablet. Not bothering to loot the other 2 chests. I think that was probably accidental movement there, or thought that he could access the bottom from there. Let's see what Guido has as a hint. It looked like Ancient Library had the Mirage Radar for the sort of stuttering that I saw there. So Judgejoe is saying, well, it's a 50% chance that this is Mirage Radar. It could be in the back of the library, which requires the Avert Fire. But he's here already. Might as well go for the 50% chance. Mirage Radar gives you access to Mirage Village, which gives you 8 very, very nice shops. Also gives you access to the Bahamut spot. Minnow here. Not terrible, certainly. Again, worst places you can find it. Unlike Vanilla, Minnow does have enough MP to cast Holy. Minnow seems to know very well which character has a wall ring, and will cast Holy on the character that has the wall ring and heal himself. And this can go on for quite a bit. Luckily, I guess Minnow only has less than 40 MP there, leaving a 20 MP spell. Not the Mirage Radar, but is the Moogle suit, which gives you 7 decent chests. It used to be completely broken. We've since lowered the tiering. So now there's 1 tier 7 chest, 3 tier 6s, and 3 tier 5s. Judgejoe is going to go ahead and tackle the Moogle Waterway first, save the Moogle, sort of do the vanilla events of the game. We'll see if this is completely vanilla and see if there is a T-Rex at the back of this Moogle Waterway. We've had no Baron hints so far. We may not get any. They're not guaranteed in every seed. And so right now, all spots are open. It is not vanilla. This, I guess, would technically be French vanilla. Moving up 1 spot. It gets a 2nd tablet. I don't know if I would go back to the Sealed Castle. Maybe if you want some money. We've seen Leviathan, so Core Ring doesn't really make too much sense. Maybe you go back to pick up Leviathan. And pick up a couple things to sell for money. Do have to talk to the Moogle here to get this chest. That is the tier 7 chest. Just a Sage Staff. We have a Chemist, so not terrible. Samurai Crystal, and we have Mix, so GG's. The seed is 1. Congratulations. You can mix up your levels and Guild Toss through the entire game if you wish to. Hope of this flag set, which does not have all jobs guaranteed, was to not be in the situation where this pops up every single match. We failed. Bling Raptor here. 2500 HP here. No point in doing anything fancy. Just a Bolt 3 will do it. So here's the deal. We know that Shrine has to have at least a path to 1 tablet. If we find another tablet unhinted, we know exactly where we have to go. And we do have a hint for Moogle Waterway Path to the Void, so that wasn't terribly unhinted, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. So, the question would be, do you finish clearing things in World 1 or World 2 before climbing Exdeath Castle? Because, again, if you do get another tablet, you don't have to go through Exdeath's Castle, or you don't have to fight the bosses in Exdeath's Castle. You can just go to Exdeath and kill him, go to Shrine, and follow that. You have your endgame strat already. So you're not worried about Neo Exdeath. The other thing that you could do is you have the Trench page, and you can just not worry about Exdeath's Castle or World 2, and go to Trench immediately after beating Exdeath in his castle, and see if that will give you your last tablet location. And that can save time. It's a risk, but you can do it. Is going through his vow, Judgejoe is going up Kiryu Valley, or some people will call it Money Mountain just because the loot is very good for it being an open check. And you can see the difference here. Like, Throw is a nice strat. Hard to beat Black 6, though. On a decent magic job. It gets the Pyramid page. Pyramid has a lot of very nice loot. Has 4 possible key items in its location. If you were going to go somewhere without a hint, that's where you'd go. Siren at the top, you can shoot. Just instantly break. Siren is heavy, so not vulnerable to Deathclaw. But is not immune to break or shake. When magic has its uses, Cure 3 is obviously a good spell. Dispel is very useful against, say, Omniscient. Holy is good for a couple of bosses. Well, there's the show. So nothing going there. So that leaves Judgejoe, Barrier Tower, which sort of surprises me you're not going there because that is 3 key item checks. We have the Elder Branch, which we know will give Hiryu Call. And then we have Exdeath in his castle, and then all of World 3. And in Judgejoe's case, we actually also do have North Mountain 1. Blue Magic, or Blue Mage cannot equip rod or staffs, for the record. Blue Mage can only equip rods. Yep. red cannon. And almost any job is going to be better than chemist. Chemist has by far the lowest amount of magic compared to the rest of the jobs that can break light staves. So Judgejoe is going to barrier tower. And Dry is going back to fight Titan. We'll get, I believe, the trench page. So there's a 50-50 chance. There are 2 trap boxes in here, trap chests. It can either be or an Elder Branch, not a trench page. My bad. It can either be a red dragon or 2 yellow dragons. The 2 yellow dragons can be are vulnerable to Deathclaw, but if you're not going to do that strat, the red dragon is probably significantly easier. Yellow dragons have a lot of HP. Red dragons have, I think, like 8,000. All Harp would also be very nice. Red dragons are undead as well. They are weak to ice, as Judgejoe just sort of proved with that Ice 3 cast. Dry going up Fury Valley will find his Siren up here, and will, if he does defeat, will get Shoat as his reward. He already has Shoat. Speaking of light staffs, there's one. Honestly, with these red dragons, you're just hoping to not see an atomic ring. And we have a wall ring on Gleef, so atomic ray wouldn't be too bad anyways. There it is. A little bit of healing. Assuming on a hits here, that should be it. You can sometimes get 2 atomic rays in a row. It's pretty painful. Just need this killer there. So, one last chance for a key item up here. See, if Dry should be carrying summon, blue magic you can still use when you're muted. Black magic summon you can't. But blue is not vulnerable to you. So, the Shiva at the top. Interestingly, not too bad. The commanders are vulnerable to many status effects such as Break and Instant Death. Shiva is level 11. If you wanted to play the Magic game, you could Dark Shock to L5 Doom. Neither player has that available to them. So we're just gonna have to deal with the 20,000 HP of Shiva. For 19,900. So, all 4 players being in the same row makes this fight significantly more difficult. Because Shiva will not alternate between characters. The way Shiva works is she will attack 1 row at a time and alternate between turns. But may have the damage output to not worry about it too much. Single target there. Should have this in hand. dragging a barrier tower as well. Did he not check the back of Bow for that hint? So nothing going on in barrier tower. So again, the question is, do you check Xdef's castle going up here? Or do you just go for Xdef and then see what Trench gives you? Or Shrine? So we know Shrine at least has the path to one tablet. Look, that Karnak was completely loaded. Barrier and Pyramid come up completely empty. It averages out. Alright, Gargoyles. 5,500 each here, roughly. They are heavy. So again, Deathclaw will not work. You have to take them both out at the same time, otherwise they will revive. Full health. Let the script go on long enough, they will then start doing Fusion, which fully heals one. Guild Toss is a perfectly viable strat against these things. Always gotta love a Guild Toss. Or just AoE damage. L3 Flare is another thing that one can do. To point in chat about doing Trench first in mode 3, I would do Shrine first, because there's a chance that Shrine has 2 tablets. And you know Shrine at least has something to do with a tablet. And then if that doesn't work out, then you go and do Trench. We got an Exploder from Dry side. Okay. Nothing going on in the basement of Xf's castle here. The fire rooms and about 2 rooms would be where you get your L2 ult if you want it. Running shoes, by far the best accessory in the game, gives you haste. And this version is not bugged, so haste will persist even after death. Judgejoe getting into Xdef's castle would be 4 an hour, that's sort of where you want to be. Guess I just float on somebody. Taking the save here just in case he hits a... Or maybe not even looting that switch room. Maybe has so many bad experiences with that room that he's deciding just to skip it. Which is fair enough. You already have your endgame strat here. May not even be looking for all that much more. Dry is taking on his Shiva up here. Not gonna bother to save before taking on the Carbuncle. And at this point, you're just happy that you have a mostly mage strat here. The issue is that Zerker. Luckily, the Zerker dies. But it is the Carbuncle spot. Eye Drop versus a Holy Water Revivify will boost elemental damage by 50%. Alternatively, if you like paint, you could Zerk up Omni here. And see numbers, even in the back row, that are probably roughly about 1700. But no, there's no reason here. Era 3 is a very nice spell. Omniscient is weak to wind, despite what it may look like. Yes, he does have a Staff of Judgment from Moogle Village. He has no way to equip it, and Staff of Judgment will cause a reset on Omniscient. Because staff breaking is a physical thing in this game. And so Omniscient says that's not allowed. But has this pretty well in hand. Omniscient will, if he gets the chance, start using some very nasty spells, such as Bolt 3, which will even be followed up with other level 3 spells. Dry is getting level 5 Doom naturally. I don't believe he has Dark Shock yet. Luckily, Judgejoe does get through Omniscient here. That flare is the last thing you will see from Omniscient. I expect Dry to immediately go to Black Flame Island, I guess after taking care of the Waltz Meteor. Timmy, level 20, so L5 Doom will instantly kill Timmy here. Don't have to worry about anything. The Carbuncle spot item was not a key item. And that's where the trench page was. And French Vanilla Carbuncle here. Again, that Zerker is going to be an issue. The other issue here is Carbuncle is going to get 3 turns. You're going to have to resurrect somebody. Otherwise, this will not. Otherwise, he will die. So we're waiting 3 turns, and then Carbuncle will switch phases and drop his Magic Barrier. And then you can hit him with a number of things that cause instant death. Or Death Claw. So many different opportunities here. So what you'll see generally is people will move the fight cursor onto Carbuncle and wait for it to drop. And then once it drops, you know the phase has changed. So Dry has not gone to Moogle Waterway. Which leads me to believe that he did not check that hint in El Castle. Which I have also forgotten a number of times. Luckily, Extef's Castle does not have another tablet, so it won't hurt him yet. Now Judgejoe is going to come up here, face Extef himself in his castle. 32,000 HP, 16,000, and then goes into phase 2, in which he double turns. Dry is doing the L3 Flare strat on Gargoyles. Not surprising. Level 33. With Mix in Black 6, shouldn't take all too long. Don't expect that many problems. We will see if Dry tries for the fastest strat available, which is the L2 ult into L5 Doom. That does require, it can require quite a bit of waiting to set that up, depending on how lucky you get the Magic Dragons, which can cast L2 ult every 4 turns with a 1/3 chance. Does this game be like that? Do not have the greatest accuracy in the game. And now we're at double turns. No Golem was set up. But that does mean that XF is getting close to being dead. Or at least destroyed here. Dry is not picking up L2 Gold. So it's not going to do death by map, or at least not do that death by map. Against our he'll use L3 Flare for his damage. Judgejoe getting through X stuff. An hour and 5, not a bad time at all. I expect immediately going to Shrine, and then gonna go to... I find nothing other than just a single tablet. We'll go into Trench. And Stalker is here. Better here than a lot of other places. I was talking earlier about Sleep and Sleep Blade. Stalkers are vulnerable to Sleep. And that can make your life a lot easier. But with 10,000 HP here, really not that big of a deal. Yes, this is French vanilla. Stalkers did not move from that first attack. Very nice. People love it. Oh, we're well over halfway done. And that's it. Nice crit, Luna. You were useful. Hitting the Stalker to certainly make sure that the Stalkers are dead. They can have a tendency to stick around. Dry showing that Omniscient is not immune to slow. Despite the innate shell. This will be some decent loot as well. Everything in here is a tier 6 chest. And Omniscient is also now in this angry phase. Mind Blast, well, we didn't learn it from Stalkers, so we won't learn it there. And White Wind, which is a very nice spell. Unfortunately, forgetting to hit the switches. And Omniscient goes down on Dry's side. First monster in a box. Is the Invisible. Judgejoe is going to continue run away for a bit, hoping for a Pantera. Which you can instantly kill. Invisibles, on the other hand, you cannot. And they end up having 3 of them in one. People familiar with Final Fantasy IV may have flashbacks to Red Dragons. It's basically that situation. We do get the pulse page, but we have access to all 4 pages now. All 4 tablet dungeons. If you want good loot, go to Pyramid. If you want your hints, go to Trench. If we don't get another key item from this, you go to Falls, because you know that is a... You know that would be Path to the Void. So one more key item check here. Next fight. Don't think we're actually going to see use next fight. We just haven't had really any true melee that would be worthwhile to put on. I don't even think we have the jobs really that would necessitate that. Free Dark Matter is nice. So we've seen a lot of the rude bosses already. Magic Sword L6. And our 20,000 HP boss is... Pelican RSS. Pelican RSS. We'll get a Kuru. No. Second monster in the box gave nothing. Everyone is a Toad. We can cast Toad on ourselves. It may or may not hit. The only thing you have to remember about Holly here is do not summon against Holly. Do not do damage with summons against Holly. Holly will just destroy you. And by that I mean Holly will do 9,999 damage to a random character in your party. Rye is going straight for L3 Flare. Which is actually going to be slower than Judgejoe's fight. L3 Flare takes a while in terms of animation, and isn't doing quite that much damage. We'll have to do quite a few of these, about 12 or 13. Holly goes down on Judgejoe's side. We know this has to... sorry. If this is not a key item, we know we need to go to Falls. And it is the first tablet. So... maybe you go to Trench now. See if you can pick up that last tablet hint. May want to save. I don't think Judge saves. is looking for trench. That's about the right area. The Greg 4 here. Not a problem at all. And X-Stuff goes down for Dry. Nothing fancy about this fight here. Just want to get through the 10,000 HP. Time slip can be annoying. But shouldn't have any problem with killing Greg before he gets banished to the Void or does his phase change, which is the important part. Dry is going to the first library spot. We'll pick up the Moogle suit. Summoner Crystal is very nice. If you want to pick up that Leviathan, you can. No wall ring on Dry side, so we're not going to see the double holy. Doing black magic. Probably been looking for that for a while. We also get two pretty nice shops. Tycoon Meteor is Path to the Void. I mean, that gave the steamship key, so I would say yes. Holy Sword, Biosword. Not too bad. Not great. So no real help in terms of the hints there. Is gonna go ahead and clear the trench anyways. 40,000 HP. Spirit Mountains would be a good hint if we find Ifrit's Fire to get Mirage Radar. That just means you don't have to do Ifrit's Fire. If you find it, you don't have to go back to the library. So I will just give you the Mirage Radar, which just opens up the Bahamut spot. That being said, there are clear reasons why you'd want to. So, more hints. 8 really nice shops. Break will not work against Ramu. Deathclaw will. You just hit it. AC Liquid Flame? Oh, okay. In the Antlion Cave. Interesting. Which... okay. Dry was paying attention to his hints. He knows exactly where to go. The thing is, I don't think he actually check the Bow Castle hint. Judgejoe is also looking for Antlion Cave, so he'll get his go mode. And has a very nice strat to beat the endgame here. So it doesn't have to go into the pyramid at all. It's a very nice situational seed. Yes. Dry needs to go to Moogle Waterway, which is hinted at Bow Castle. And has to go to Shrine, which was hinted as well. So if you are checking your hints, Dry would be in go mode, or no mode. Again, I don't remember if he went to the back of Bow Castle and saw it. But yeah, with all 4 tablets, the only thing you have to make sure if you're using Guildhall strats is that you have enough money to do said strats. And I missed it too. Granted, I also did not pay attention to how many items he just picked up. But again, he should know that Shrine is Path to the Void. It's a very early hint. Well, I should specify, it was an early hint because Ship Graveyard was Path to the Void. Ship Graveyard gave the Shrine page. I definitely saw the Ship Graveyard as Path to the Void, which led to Shrine page. So he should know. But maybe over the course of an hour and 15 minutes since he got that hint, just forgot to write it down, or just forgot about that hint. Does Judgejoe loot at all here? Well, there's Guild Toss, it's unnecessary. Odin is very nice, however. Because right now your strat would be to load up on Samurais, and then mix. Samurai has innate Guild Toss. You can definitely make a strong case to just not bother with chess at this point. The only boss here that could give you trouble is a Necro at, I'd say, like, either Hallie or Twintania. Other than that, it should be pretty good to go. Panda wouldn't be great, but you're probably not going to find anything that will help you with a Panda. Necro anywhere in the void does Holy and Flare. You have a Zerker. And that area 3 may not do 1500 damage. Luckily, you have time to kill the Zerker. That Zerker will not do enough damage to cause a double meteor cast anyways. But I expect the Zerker isn't actually going to get a turn. And now we wait. We will be sending Go-Go off to Final Fantasy VI. He will exile himself to the Void, so he will not be going far. Yes, the Void is exactly where we are. So right now it's very clearly Judgejoe is in the lead. And that lead will continue to extend until Dry remembers that Shrine is indeed the path. And I assume that will probably not be happening, unfortunately. Pyramid makes sense if you don't know where to go. It has 4 key items, it has incredibly good loot. Unfortunately, this is not the correct play. We see French vanilla Sprite. Biblos is significantly easier than a Panda though because not heavy, which means Deathclaw will work. Like a Panda is significantly vulnerable to fire. Break does not work. Odin will work. Deathclaw will work. Press down a little bit, Judgejoe. Or just try Deathclaw again. Whitewind just heals for the amount of HP that character currently has. See, Joe had the one status effect that could have worked. Tried Deathclaw, and unfortunately got hit before cast it. But continue to try it. Odin will work eventually. There you go. Knowing your boss types can be very important, especially with the Usurper continually missing. Biblos' boss does indeed still live. Biblos has taken over his spot though. So I don't know what that says about that relationship. Statues and Dryzalizer are level 5 doomable, but it takes a while. They're also weak to Thunder. I guess gets at Ifrit Fire. Should also know by hand that can lead to nothing. The Adamantite, on the other hand, can. Greg 1 is actually vulnerable to statuses. But it will also basically leave after 3000 HP damage because after 10% of his damage is gone, his script is to run away. So far, a reasonably tame Void. Wasn't really expecting much to go wrong in terms of bosses available here. We've seen most of the nasty bosses already. The main thing is just Necro. Necro at this spot would have been fine. Necro in the next two slots can be certainly a bit of an issue. The Ifrit's Fire, I believe. The top Bone Dragon is vulnerable to break. It's the only one of the two that is. These two enemies only have 10,000 HP each here. It's a 20,000 spot HP spot divided two ways. I don't think Bone Dragon has a mustache. Unless you're confusing that with the tail. The freest of all fights on Dryzalizer. The Sergeant is level 0, so 0 divided by 5 is indeed a remainder of 0. And just 2 more spots. This could very well be the fastest time to get the tournament. This can be what happens when a steamship is as loaded as it was. And when most of the nasty bosses are out of the way, but we're not out of the woods yet. When Tanya in French Vanilla spot, this is not bad at all. If you are unfamiliar with Twin Tanya, you might think that this is a terrible boss. That's just because you don't know the trick for it, which is let Twin Tanya do the 5 rounds of combat, and then do any effect that will cause instant death, because at that point, Twin Tanya is vulnerable to all of the statuses. if you attack Twintonia, as you saw there, before he gets to that point, the counters hurt. So now we're going to get a Mind Blast, which is going to go into 25% Breath Wings, or Wind Flashes here. We're going to see one more, and then Twintonia is going to charge up for Giga Flare. We can do the same trick we did against Carbuncle, which is delete our cursor, wait for the phase change, and then so Twintonia drops his level to level 1, and this becomes vulnerable to a lot of things. Shoat would have been probably a safer option. Odin there can still, I think, use a Gongnir Spear, whereas Shoat will certainly hit against Twintonia. But either way, we are through it. There's a mix if you really wanted it. Next slash, that's pretty late. And our Twintonia spot is Archaeoavis. Not a terrible spot. Maelstrom, you have to be a little bit worried about. This is absolutely a spot that if you are aware enough of the damage you are doing, you could very well sandwich Archaeoavis and skip the other 4 phases. There's about 10,000 HP. There's exactly 10,000 HP per phase. Each phase, he becomes absorbent to one of the elements until he no longer takes damage from any magic. But he also gets less physical defense. Phases 2 and 4 are not heavy, and phase 5 is level 20. You use Slash to kill Archaeoavis in those 2 phases. We get what is known as sort of a mini boss, because Archaeoavis respawns on the screen lower and lower each time. I do not believe anyone has shown off the menu boss this tournament. It was done quite a bit in the first tournament, actually. And I did it in the last tournament. Against... maybe it was against Freddy. In finals. I know it wasn't against Monk, because I know he was commentating it. We get the power of the crystals. If you had L5 Doom, you could instantly kill Archaeoavis. Not going to be a problem here regardless. Luckily, Breathling before Maelstrom doesn't do anything. Maelstrom into Breathling absolutely kill your party. But yeah, down goes Archaeoavis. And just the final fight left. This is looking to be a 141-142. Roughly. We shouldn't have any problem with the final fight here. It's going to be as anticlimactic as any fight is. First fight of the game is probably more climactic than this one will be. Welcome to Giltos and Nyx. No point in saving. Just make sure you are healed. Question is whether or not you want to run with, you don't need 2 time mages, that's for sure. You may want to put on a summoner for Golem, or you can have 3 mixers if you want. The key point here is really the guild toss is the important part. You got 4 of those, so really you shouldn't encounter any issue here. Go over this a little bit more. Dry is doing the death by math on Stalkers, which is 2 Dark Shocks, bringing the Stalker to level 1. Then a mix to bring it to level 11, then another Dark Shock to level 5, and L5 team. Not worthwhile in that particular spot. But you can do it. So, this is essentially going to work in 2 phases, similar to how X stuff at the end works in 2 phases. Well, more than that, but there's X stuff, Tree X stuff, and then Neo X stuff. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to mix up a life potions, which is a Phoenix Down and a Revivify or a Holy Water. That is going to make us immune to instant death. Tree X stuff has an attack known as White Hole, which inflicts death and stone. And because we are immune to death, we are also immune to the stone portion of that attack. The other thing we're going to do is raise our level, either by Dragon Fang and Potion, which raises our level by 20. We're going to do Antidotes and Revivifies to raise our level by 10. The key here is we are going to have our levels sit around 92. Once that happens, we basically go to Guild Toss and hold A. And then we do 5 Guild Tosses against X stuff, and then 7 against the Neo X stuff phase. A little bit unlucky that turn 1 was a White Hole, but nothing too bad. We are now immune. If you do no damage to Tree X stuff, he has 2 things he can do. He can do a White Hole, and he can do a physical attack. At this point, neither will pose a problem. White Hole will do absolutely nothing. I assume so. I didn't actually ever look about Joe's guild level. I don't remember seeing a massive sell-off. We're gonna find out. I assume it is. I don't think he bought all that much. That is about the only way this can go south, and even then, Samurais are a pretty safe job. You have the HP. No idea. One more character to mix up. kind of want to do here, Dry is going to get his first Navlet from Heli. You can slow X-Def, it's not required. But you don't want to start Gale Tossing until after he takes his turn. Like I said, his script right now is fairly innocuous. If he gets an attack in between you doing damage, you can see Meteos come out. Or Flares. Flare is actually a much better move than Meteo. Meteo could wipe this party. So you have 3 characters. This is absolutely doable. 6 will kill Almagest. That's the important part here. Almagest right now will kill every character on the screen. You could mix a Resurrection if you wanted to. Take Ferris. Pick Ferris up. You don't need to. But what you do need to do is time your Gale Tosses. Once you get to 4 or 5 Gale Tosses, you want to make sure that you have 2 or 3 queued up. Because it is entirely possible, especially with this ATP, that you will get these last turn on the back. And if the back part gets a last turn, it will start off with Meteo. Or it has a good chance of starting off with Meteo. And then we'll go into a second attack, which is a devastating combination. And is this going to go pick up Ferris? Should be fine. Ferris has running shoes. And should just be able to hold A, actually. So it's the last 2 here that you want to do it at the same time. That's fine. You have 2 characters that are close together. You're not at risk of getting double turn with that Delta attack, because that's the part that stays alive. And then a Gale Toss, and that finishes up. And that is GG to Judgejoe. The excellent time of 146.15. Most likely the fastest time of the tournament. Really, very well done. Let's see if we can get him in here for an interview. As Dry is going through the void. Was a pretty soft void again. We saw most of the scary bosses very early, which is very nice to see. That does mean that Judgejoe is going to go into the loser semi and face IP Karma, whereas Dry's tournament run has unfortunately ended. This certainly has been a run for Judgejoe, who I believe picked up career day maybe like 3 months ago, if that. So very well done, very impressive. Berserker doing a lot more work than I expected. Judgejoe will be here in about a minute. It's taking a little bit of a break. These are longer seeds, despite how quick it was. And we see a little bit of free enterprise in that timer. Go follow our runners if you aren't already. Dryzalizer does a lot of Final Fantasy V. Judgejoe does a lot of free enterprise. So Final Fantasy IV Rando. And unfortunately, the runners list is not updated. So Dry has forfeited after the go-go. Seeing that. And there is Judgejoe. GG's, man. What a very well-run race.
Thank you. After the seed after you get the first tablet, everything felt a lot faster.
Yes, and when you have time, well, you couldn't really make too much use of Time 6, Black 6, or White 6 until a little bit later, I don't think, but Haste 2 available early, you put that Berserker to work. Again, a very, very well-run race by you. I think the only thing that ended up not being hinted was the Antlion Cave tablet. Luckily, just right there.
Yeah, unless Mirage Radar gave that hint somewhere, but
I don't believe so. Dry did end up picking up the Mirage Radar because I think he ended up forgetting what was that ship graveyard or forgot about that hint, and so did not go to Shrine immediately.
Got it.
So, but even if he did, I think you were ahead going into XF's castle. You were ahead getting out of XF castle. I think by and large, you were just ahead in this race, and you really just continued to improve on sort of your the time difference as the race went on. It was just very, very well run.
Yeah, I'm starting to figure out some of the bosses and their tricks and kind of starting to figure out a little bit of what makes the game tick.
Yeah, you could tell that there was a little bit of an experience about trying to figure out what bosses are immune to what really. Biblos is really the one that comes to mind in terms of just forgetting whether or not Biblos is heavy, because you were trying to break Biblos, which is not a thing you can do. But you eventually figured it out, eventually tried an Odin.
Yeah, I think it's Ifrit is the one that you can break, and that took me a minute to fiddle around with my phone. I was just doing the same thing until I could pull up the chart that would tell me what in the world this boss is weak to, because I know it's weak.
Yes. It's always fun to see Biblos at a Panda. It's a nice switch. But we are also joined by Dryzalizer. GG's.
Hey, GG's to Joe. I did not expect him to finish this seed so quickly. It was... I thought I was in good shape because I guessed right a few spots. You must have done even better.
Yeah, the big thing, there were a couple things, but the biggest thing is I think you forgot what Ship Graveyard gave you. Ship Graveyard's Path to the Void gave you the Shrine page.
I went to the Shrine eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
I should have gone there sooner, huh?
Yeah, because you were sitting at one tablet left, and then you were doing Trench and Pyramid. Because you went to Antlion Cave first.
Which was a lucky call there, for sure.
Yes.
I almost went to Antlion before Shrine, or Antlion before Trench. I decided to go for the Trench hints before Antlion.
I think in general, that's probably a good call. Because if you're sitting at one tablet left, right? Go to Trench, get your 3 hints, and hopefully that will point you in the right direction. Were either of you, or I guess Judgejoe maybe, were you considering whether or not to just skip the XDEF castle checks, knowing that you had 2 tablets remaining and you knew one of them had to be through the Shrine?
A little bit. like especially like the base or whatever, but just I didn't have any real idea where that last tablet was going to be. I had the pyramid page, unless that was Exteth's Castle, so I did have a variety of checks open, but I don't know. Felt like a lot of runners will take the Exteth's Castle, so yes, I can gain some time, but also I could lose a whole lot of time if I end up having to come back, because it would be a while.
Yeah, it was the idea that you had the trench page at that point, and so you could just skip it and then see if the hints are useful. They wouldn't have been in this case. That's an interesting decision choice, I feel, when you're in that situation. Ultimately, both of you did do the entire Exteth's Castle. Dry did a little bit more math, whereas Judgejoe, you leaned hard on both that Berserker and Black 6, and that was actually ended up being sort of the faster strat to rely on sort of Bolt 3.
I had a Thunder Rod, I had Ice 3 early, and then I ended up getting Ice Rod, but I got Bolt 3 before I got the Ice Rod, so just stick with Bolt 3, do 3k, have a bit of help, a little bit of haste, a little bit of mixing for levels. You'll get through fight pretty fast. Plus, options for insta-kill were still there.
You both made pretty good use of mix. It's always nice to see. I assume both of you were pretty happy. Certainly, I know Judgejoe being a bit more inexperienced when you see that Samurai Crystal show up at Mukul Village. And you're just like, cool, I'm good.
Yeah, without Summon 5 or Breakblade, like that Samurai Crystal was and Giltoss later could have, but were a big help. I think my current plan, because I probably would have grabbed Leviathan in case I found Summoner, which I also did in the Void, but would have mixed and chucked tier 3 elementals and hoped.
And that is a valid X stuff strat, by the way. If you do it correctly, I think you can get to like 7,000 on your damage as AoE with Black 6. So it definitely does work with mix. If you haven't tried that strat out in your practice runs. So what did you two think of the seed in general? I thought it was pretty tame. You saw a lot of nasty bosses early in spots that you would rather see them. I'm sure, Judgejoe, you were like, please don't show Necro's face at the end of the Void.
To be honest, I had forgotten about Necrophobia, but he would have been a problem that I would have just had to, I think, reconfigure. Maybe set up a dancing chicken knife user or something. Figure something out. But yeah, early I was like, alright, let's go get some levels. Let's go to Waltz Meteor, Timmy. That's not rod breaking. Let's go check out Waltz Castle. Why is there Titan there? Like, it took a while to get one of the bigger HP XP spots for the early game to get me going. But the one that I picked with gave me the steamship key, and that was massive.
Yeah, that actually
Same here.
That actually ended up being a pretty big reason why you got a huge jump ahead. Is Dry, you decided to wait on that steamship key. After you got it, you did a few other checks, whereas Judgejoe said, "I'm going to do steamship." Got that tablet, got the anti-barrier bracelet, which is just really, really game. And then picked up what was, Black 6, White 6, and Time 6 in Kusa Castle, which made the fights that you had done before Steamship Dry a lot faster on his end. But you found Throw a lot earlier.
I definitely felt like I thought about doing Karnak. I didn't go there right away, and then certainly did pay off. My feeling about the seed as I was playing it was that the hints were really bad, but I guess even though I wrote it down, the shrine page so early is something I did forget about, because now that I'm looking at my notes, I'm like, oh yeah, graveyard Path of the Void. I should have done the shrine and not gone to Pyramid at all.
Was there anything at all in Pyramid?
Oh, it was full of great loot. I don't remember anything specifically, but I'm sure it was plenty of good stuff because I practically full looted it.
And it was the sergeant fight at the top, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, yep.
So.
I wrote down Ifrit's Fire was in there, Adamantite was in there, so I got the Ifrit's Fire and then went back to the library and went to Mirage because the library had the Mirage radar too.
Yeah, I went to the at the end of once I got the first tablet, I just speed cleared the meteors and stuff because I had the power now, and then on my way out of World 1 into World 2 stuff, I just sort of stopped by the library, saw the library hint, hey, it has the Mirage radar, and went, okay, I'll go and check it, and then just found the Moogle suit.
Same.
It wasn't what you were looking for, but somehow this was more useful. So.
Yeah, I enjoyed getting the suit, but then I was like, oh, now I'm going to have to double dip for the radar. But of course, I think that was probably at the point where I didn't need to double dipping. So yeah, I definitely misplayed hugely over off the shrine. I actually remember when I was flying to the pyramid, I was like, should I do shrine first? I was like, no, pyramid has more checks. But no, that's just my own noticing mistake.
Yeah,
That
thankfully.
explains why you beat me by so much, because I was like, I thought I was doing pretty good, but nope, I didn't follow the hints properly.
Where were you when did you finish or?
I got to go, and then I closed my notes, and then I saw that you had forfeited. You had won like a minute before.
Yeah.
I just entered the void. Yeah.
Got it. Berserker was very, very nice until I just up pops Go-Go, and I'm like, no, Lena, please die, please die. Thankfully, I killed the Berserker, and then Twintania popped up, and I'll just tank it. See a tidal wave from the Berserker counter. Okay, you also need to die in this fight. There was like just a couple fights where it's like, please don't.
I don't usually roll with Berserker all the way through a seed. At some point, it kind of causes more trouble than it's worth, but it's hard to know exactly when to stop. You kind of keep rolling with it until you get burned.
Yeah, I mean, I think you did the same thing with Carbuncle at Rig 4. There were definitely a couple of spots where that Berserker was causing issues, but you managed to get through it fine. If that Berserker had actually hit Go-Go, you wouldn't have even the double Meteo, but it still would have been pretty bad. Especially because I don't remember when the last time you had saved was.
Right before entering the void.
Okay.
There's some time to kill off your Berserker before he triggers Go-Go in the high hit point spots. So it's not too scary.
Based on my setup, I was essentially ending up with, I had a blue tie mage with running shoes, and then the second person to go was Ferris with the black mage, because Ferris is faster than Leda, assuming gear and passes, but...
Well, Berserker is just also a very slow job, so...
That helps.
There's a delay on its first actions. You might have even been able to put it to sleep. I don't know if you had that spell, but that's something I do with Berserker quite often.
Sleep would have worked. I just tried to trust in the trusty damage of Arrow 3 missed by 20 HP and then Bolt 3 for the kill.
No, like I said, you both took a different approach for most of the seed in terms of your team setups, which was very nice to see. And for the most part, it was pretty close until sort of that shrine misplay. But again, this was Judgejoe again. With you having been playing Career Day for maybe 3 months, right? Roughly, maybe less.
Yeah. So there was a while ago, like 6 or 7 months ago that I sort of picked up Career Day, did like 1-2 seeds, maybe finished one of them. Just had a little bit of fun with various settings, didn't have a specific one. And then I stopped for a while until I discovered this tournament existed and pretty much re-picked it up about 2 weeks before the tournament.
So
I've just been
incredible run.
practicing then.
Incredible playing, for sure. It's
I'm
certainly
very
nice to see.
impressed with Joe's play. I knew I was going to have to go fast for sure. I knew he would be aggressive. And yeah, I hope that at least seeing me do different things was entertaining, even though I kind of flubbed on the hints.
I always enjoy seeing math strats, but that's me. Whereas Judgejoe was going for the DPS, which is a perfectly valid strategy, especially when you have the tools to do it.
Math is fun. I enjoy math outside of games. That's another massive number I would need to learn to be able to. It's at the moment I'm still trying to learn all of the vulnerabilities. Adding in levels, that's a big step.
Hey, as long as these seeds continue to give you mix and guild toss, you're not going to complain about that.
No. I've had so far one tournament race that didn't have mix or hero song, but that one did have guild toss. I had to go and hunt for a while for my method.
Yep.
I think when I reached X-Death, it was really, really fast, and apparently the best method was something to the effect of throwing scrolls with maxed out magic and speed.
That can definitely do work. You'll see that quite a bit in the 4-job season, actually. Not too much in this round. I think you probably see it a little bit more in the previous full tournament. People were doing sort of more differentiated strats. I can probably speak more to that. I'm trying to remember that first tournament. But,
The standard first tournament that we had,
it was a lot of sing. I feel like.
yeah, sing and mix guild toss at the end was pretty standard. I had to do one race where I didn't have it, and I think I entered the final fight for my opponent, but they had guild toss. They won the final fight before I did.
I believe, was that against IB Karma?
IB Karma was in that race. I think it was like a community race, and I won the race, the portion of the race that was being broadcast, but Karma won the race overall, I think.
I mean,
By the way, speaking of Karma, that's Joe's opponent next, right?
Yeah, that was a segue to Joe. You are in the sort of losers semifinal going against IB Karma, sort of the career day in here. I remember, I think both you and Flurry had said, both of you and him more in the free enterprise community, that at this point you're just playing with house money. But any thoughts going into, I guess the match would be next week?
Still don't know enough about any specific names other than I hear Fiery is you're very scary is what I hear. But outside of that, I just don't quite have names of who really have hits things. I know IB Karma is going to have probably the knowledge advantage, but I'm hoping my kind of aggressive style I've begun to develop helps me out through it, and I'll just try and keep on playing my game. Hoped a little bit to go and run into Flurry in this tournament, but first I lost, so we missed the match then, and then Flurry lost, so we missed the match now.
Yes, I will admit I was looking forward to calling a ZZ5 Red Moon match in Career Day. Fortunately not to be. But I think actually sort of the principles you pick up from the other Final Fantasy randos, in your case, Free Enterprise, certainly helps you. I don't know how you feel about it. I think it helps in terms of managing where you can pick up time or where you would lose time and sort of that aggressive play style. Not going to say anything about sort of the save state situation, but or the save slot situation, but that's always fun.
I'm trying to break the habit of just rotating my saves in career day, but
There's no
it's
point.
hard.
Nothing wrong with doing it.
No, there's nothing wrong with doing
Any
it.
problem, yeah.
I just get to
It's
rib
fun.
people about that. No, the real issue about going from 4 to 5 is, of course, the Y button to slow down or speed up. Right? How many times do you want to open up the world map?
Thankfully, I finally have stopped doing that, I think, in career day.
Well, we did not see it today. Dry. Unfortunately, this also means that you are out of the tournament. How did you feel about the tournament overall? Sort of the trap chest.
I enjoyed it very much. I was glad that we got some new folks in here, like Joe. There have been some people in the past who didn't join us this time, but I hope that they will also come back because we're just trying to grow the community and everybody's pitching in, and I'm very happy with how things have gone so far, and I look forward to maybe doing some commentary or at least tracking or something on the future races.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we could always use more crew members behind the scene. With that, do either of you have any final thoughts about the seed or anything else in general?
Thanks, Dry. You were a really fun opponent. Definitely was nervous going into this match for sure. When I've watched a bunch of streams, you just always seem to have the answer to any question about career day I see, which is kind of nice when I'm trying to learn. And thanks to everyone who helped put on this restream. Lots of fun. I'm definitely going to enjoy watching it again.
Right on. Great game, Joe. Glad to be of help in terms of game knowledge. And yeah, thanks again to Fiery and also Rammstein behind the scenes making the stream happen, and also Speed Gaming, of course, for hosting us.
It's was certainly a pleasure to commentate that race and to watch it. Thanks to both of our racers again. If you haven't given them a follow, please do. They're both wonderful racers in various different aspects. And with that, I believe that pretty much finishes it up here. So we have 2 matches next week. Neither of them have been scheduled. Ram has posted something in the chat about it. We have Judgejoe versus IB Karma in the losers semi match. And then we have the winners final, which will be me versus Alistair0579. Both of those will be taking place in the next week. Should both be on Speed Gaming somewhere. Hopefully we'll get that sorted out soon. And with that, I believe that just takes us out. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And we will see you next time.